Well, additional thoughts. God Don't Make Mistakes by Conway the Machine. It's been an emotional couple days for me musically, listening. Nothing's bad is happening. It's just, with this album, and then today, Blink 182 released a song called One More Time, and it's just beautiful. So good. So good. And it's kind of been like some collision in terms of different ideas and emotions, and it revolving around just life and appreciating life and pondering life and, regrets and things that have happened and what happened because of those things. And it's been fascinating for me the last couple of weeks. Again, nothing bad personally, but every now and then, right, you get into those like just really deep pockets of feels because of music. And that's what I've been on the last couple of days. With Conway, great album. God Don't Make Mistakes is a great album. But what I've been doing the last couple of days is I just kind of been spam listening to the title track, the closer, God Don't Make Mistakes. I think it's probably one of the best album closers I've ever heard. In terms of concluding an album, probably one of the best songs I've ever heard. Just to go on the ride that you go on through this album and then to end with that is, it's phenomenal. With John Woo Flick and reading some of the comments about Griselda and some of the music that they make, it's like, I don't know how much I'll get into them. I'll check out some other stuff, West Side Gun and Benny the Butcher, and I'll see what I can get into. But it is true, with this album, it falls into the category of heavy lift, almost. Not quite entirely. It's funny, Monday night, I think I had it on. My wife and I were sitting, we were playing games, and she sits next to me on her laptop. And she's like, "Oh, is this the album for Friday?" I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Oh, it's pretty chill." But it is. It is pretty chill because, she could hear the beats and she could hear Conway, but she couldn't hear what he was saying. And so if you just have it on, it is chill. It is kind of easy to listen to. And that's one of the things I really like about this album, kind of respect about this album, is if you sit down and really pay attention to it, you go through an emotional ride that is this guy's life, which makes it even harder. But he doesn't beat you over the head with it. He just kind of lays it all out. It's almost like somebody, the first thing that comes to mind is, like a tarot card reader, right? They're just laying out all these cards. This is that, and you can kind of take it or leave it if you want to. That's really how it comes across. And it's fascinating in that regard. Initially, I didn't really have any notes. I only wrote down heavy lift, which I've already said, and my wife enjoyed it. The only thing I wrote down other than that was Soft White Underbelly, which is a YouTube channel I enjoy. I enjoy. It's an amazing channel. Sometimes it's hard to enjoy it. It's this guy out of LA, and he interviews fentanyl addicts. He interviews people who have been human trafficked and rape victims, and they're alcoholics. They're living on the streets. He basically interviews and talks to these people. He's a photographer, so it's just a person sitting on a chair with a backdrop, microphone. I'm very straightforward. And he asks them, "Okay, tell me about your childhood growing up, and what was your family like?" And these people who have fallen into the bottomless voids that exist within the cracks of our society tell their story, and sometimes it is just brutal. And it's reality. It's reality. And there's the term conscious rap, and I know that flies around. I don't think that necessarily applies to this, but for me, listening to Conway talk about his life like this in this album, it makes me very conscious of so many things in life. So many things I have not had to endure. So many things that I do have that are positive, and it's kind of neat in a really strange way, the different things that can help you bring appreciation to your own life. And Conway, he's got some good. It's not like he's all in the negative, right? Like he's successful rapper. He's got money. But holy shit, he's definitely got some trauma in there as well. You know, it didn't come for free. It came at a price. And that's why I really, really love the final track, God Don't Make Mistakes. I mean, Wild Chapters is still almost my favorite. Piano Love is incredible. Stress is amazing. Chanel Pearls, Jill Scott is just beautiful on that song. Even Tear Gas is cool. I mean, it's a phenomenal album. But I love the end where Conway is just kind of going through what if. You know, and the thing I really appreciate about that track too is he doesn't sit there and go, I should have done this and I should have done, and why, and how come I didn't, and if so-and-so, when, you know, he's not blaming himself, he's not second-guessing himself, he's not blaming others, he's not trying to assign any kind of responsibility to anybody. He's simply just thinking about it. What if none of this shit would have happened? Would any of the stuff that came after it have happened as well? That's a weird question to have, you know, especially for someone like him. His position is very specific, right? There's not a lot of people out there that have gone through what he's gone through to then end up where he is now. And I love that song because he doesn't assign blame. He doesn't play victim. He just really ponders it. And for me, it's like a philosophical experience listening to that song. And that's why the last couple of days, I've been listening to it a lot just to kind of soak in it with him. This consideration, you know, what if? And then the Blink-182 song, One More Time, kind of this distant parallel to it. It's very different. It's more or less these guys appreciating, you know, and coming back together and realizing the good old days, and, you know, why did these things happen? They don't have to be that way. So it kind of a reconciliation, a little bit, I guess not so much of a parallel to what Kanye's doing, but I don't know. There's just something there on I feel like on an emotional level. Phenomenal album. I mean, it's a couple days ago, you know, I run this through my head. I don't sit here and read anything, right? You guys, I don't edit. You guys just see me talk about this. And I run it through my head, what I think I'm going to talk about with each album. And sometimes I've got a bunch of notes. Sometimes I don't have anything. Every now and then I come across something like this where it's hard to talk to it. It's hard to talk about it. Because sometimes, with this one specifically, albums are so well done. It just feels stupid to critique it in any way, either positive or negative. You know, I love the painting analogy. I use it all the time. Hopefully you guys aren't getting sick of that yet. Every now and then, too, you know, you'll see a painting. I like to do this one a lot, right? You see a painting, you appreciate it, but you'll never hang it up on your wall. Sometimes, too, you see a painting and you're like, like you get it, but you don't get it, but at the same time, you wouldn't change it. Like, don't change that. Just leave that exactly what it is. And if somebody were to ask you, like if the painter were there and the painter were to ask, well, why? Your answer would be, I don't know. But that thing is exactly how it's supposed to be. And, you know, sometimes with life, it seems so messy and chaotic and all over the place. And there's just, you know, there's no control. There's no anything. But at the same time, that's what it's supposed to be. And Conway goes through this whole thing. And I love the fact that he really doesn't try to fix it, change it. It's just, this is what it is. And there you go. There you go. There's my additional thoughts. God Don't Make Mistakes. Conway the Machine. Fantastic album. I can't even talk about the end with his mom because I mean, almost every time I start getting... Yesterday, when I started spam listening to it, I would basically get to the part, you know, where I wonder, am I going to make it in these streets, or the streets going to claim me, or whatever he's saying. And then as soon as I hear the heart monitor, okay, back. I don't even let his mom start talking because it's just a lot. It's very heavy. Very heavy. Okay, tomorrow, so Drake pulled out his Fat D, right? And of course, by pulled out his Fat D, I mean he has postponed his album called For All the Dogs, which is FATD, Fat D, right? Everyone knew that. There was no way you would mistake pulling out his Fat D for something else. So I have an open spot. I was just going to move up Mobb Deep and The Infamous. Then someone else said something like, basically my schedule's changed like 4 times in the last week. What I'm going to do, tomorrow I'm going to listen to the new Doja Cat album Scarlet because I want to. No one's asked me to. I want to. I've heard the one single Attention. I liked it a lot. I liked what was going on there. I've kind of caught wind here and there, you know, some of the friction that she's had with her fans and what have you. I have not heard or seen the video for Demons, but I saw some stills and I'm like, oh, I kind of want to check that out. So I want to check out Doja Cat. So that's what's going to happen. Mobb Deep will then come the following week, as it's already scheduled. However, this weekend I'm home alone. So I realized, oh, I've got time, which means I can sit down with something that is difficult to schedule because of its length. So Saturday, I'm going to sit down, Tupac, All Eyes on Me, double disc, 2-hour album. I'm going to do the whole fucking thing. I'm going to record that and post that to Patreon on Saturday. Then I'll probably take a nap because I'll be tired. Sunday, I'll sit down and do the edits and upload and post it on YouTube. So Patreon will get it a day early. Kind of a way to, you know, nudge people to sign up for Patreon. It's $2. But there you go. So Doja Cat Friday. New album, and then Tupac's All Eyes on Me Saturday for Patreon, Sunday for YouTube. And there you go. And then Mobb Deep will close out September. Not bad. Not a bad rotation, if I don't say so myself. All right, y'all. Take care.